She looked me in the eye across the kitchen table. "You've had your time here," she said. "It's only fair you leave so my oldest son and his wife can start a family." The words dripped like poison. Calm, casual, as if she hadn't just erased me with a sentence. She didn't know. She didn't know I paid $5,600 a month to keep this roof over all of our heads. She didn't know the contract was in my name, not hers, not my husband's. She thought I was disposable. I smiled, I nodded, and inside I began to plan. When I first met her, I wanted to impress her. She was my husband's anchor, the woman whose approval meant stability. I cooked the meals she liked, listened to the stories she repeated, laughed at the same old jokes. She called me a good girl. Back then, it felt like praise. Now I know it was just possession disguised as kindness. Years passed. She took more space than she was given. Her voice always louder at dinner. Her hand always heavier on decisions. My husband stayed silent. I told myself it was easier to live with her than fight. But silence makes tyrants bold. The first crack was subtle. A comment. "You're lucky we let you stay here." I laughed it off, even though the rent receipt burned in my pocket. Then whispers about how her real grandchildren would need space soon, as if mine weren't real. And finally, the sentence, cold, sharp, final. "You should leave." That's when my heart hardened. I didn't shout, I didn't defend myself, I didn't tell her about the checks I wrote, the deposits I made, the nights I stayed awake budgeting so this family could breathe. I just nodded, quiet, because quiet is dangerous. Quiet means I've already decided. That night, while they slept, I went to my office. I opened the lease agreement, ran my fingers over my signature. Mine, not hers, not his. I called the movers, booked them for the next morning. When the truck arrived, I moved quickly, box after box. My clothes, my children's toys, the heirlooms she assumed were hers. She came downstairs in her robe, panic already on her face. "What are you doing?" I didn't answer. I taped another box shut. Her voice rose. "You can't just—" I looked at her, calm, controlled. "This is my lease, my payments, my name. You told me to leave. I'm leaving." The color drained from her face. She tried to spin it, said I misunderstood, said she didn't mean it like that. But lies don't grow roots once truth is pulled from the ground. I told her movers would be done in 2 hours. After that, the apartment would be empty. No furniture, no food, no warmth. She begged, actually begged. Her voice cracked, her hands trembled. "Where will we go?" For once, she felt the ground shift beneath her. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Instead, I handed the landlord my keys and closed the door behind me. The fallout came fast. My husband called, accused me of overreacting. I sent him copies of every rent receipt, every canceled check, every bank statement. 5 years, $5,600 every month. Proof of everything they never saw. Silence. Then texts, apologies, pleas, promises. I didn't reply. Now I live somewhere smaller, cozier, a place that is mine alone, built on my terms, not borrowed approval. My children laugh louder here. They sleep better. Maybe it's the quiet, maybe it's the peace. Maybe it's because they see me standing taller. And her? She learned what it means to misjudge silence. Sometimes, late at night, I replay that moment in the kitchen. Her smugness, her certainty that I was weak, that I had no ground to stand on. And then I remember her face as the movers carried the sofa out the door. That was the real eviction notice. She wanted space for her son's future. Instead, she lost her own. Revenge isn't always loud. It doesn't always need fireworks. Sometimes it's a truck at dawn, a lease in your name, and the weight of silence pressing down on someone who thought they held the power. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I just left and took everything with me. Now, when I stand in my kitchen, sunlight spilling through the window, I breathe easier. No one can tell me to leave. No one can strip me from my own home. Because here, I am not a guest. I am the foundation. And she will never forget the day she told me to go and realized I was the only thing keeping her standing.